Good evening, everyone. My name is Cindy Minoski, and I'm from the Big Island of Hawaii. Today is Saturday, September 3rd, 2011. I would like to give a warm welcome to everyone on this Mentoring for Free Saturday Skills Call and to those who will listen to the recording of this call in the future. Mentoring for Free is not an MLM company or an affiliate program. There's no cost to you for this or any of our more than 10 live generic training calls and interactive discussions each week. Mentoring for Free is a community of volunteers who believe in the magic and value of education, personal development, and sharing what we know works. Our purpose is to help anyone and any company succeed in network marketing by providing education, coaching, mentoring, and support within a mastermind environment. It is my pleasure to introduce my good friend and mentor from Brooksville, Florida, the author of Success in 10 Steps, the founder and creator of Mentoring for Free, Mr. Michael Dlouhy.
Cindy, thank you so much for welcoming everybody on the call. We so appreciate that. And I just love the first Saturday of the month. Every month on the first Saturday, we always do colors. And there is nothing that I know of to train on that we can teach you that is going to help elevate your business, your life in every area imaginable. When you understand colors, when you understand personalities, you now understand your spouse, your children, your boss, your employees. If you have people working for you, you can totally understand how and why they do what they do. There's no more guesswork. You absolutely know it. And there's no better format that I'm aware of than to be interviewed live on a call like this. And that is where I'm going to introduce Mr. Richard Dennis. Richard Dennis is very well known in the network marketing industry. He was the creator of the Dead Doctors Don't Lie tape. Over 250 million of those tapes, cassette tapes, were sold and distributed around the world. You probably got one yourself. So anyway, Richard Dennis is up in Monticello, Florida. And he's going to interview me on the magic of colors tonight. So, Richard, let me turn the call over to you, my friend.
Thanks very much, Michael. Let's talk about when you don't understand colors.
Oh, boy.
This incident I'm going to tell you about was 43 years ago, 1968, and I remember it like it was 15 minutes ago. I was 21, and she was 18. And this was my first love, and she's definitely a green personality.
Oh boy!
And I'm a green personality, and you probably already know this, but greens are generally right.
Always.
Yeah, I was right,
in their mind.
Yeah, I was right, and she was right. And so we're having a late night dinner, and we're having this dinner at one of my favorite places, the Cafe Restaurant in Eugene, Oregon. And I was a junior at the University of Oregon at the time. And the relationship could kind of be described as love with consistent arguments. And so the conversation during dinner was pretty typical for us, love and disagreement, some contentious talk. And then dinner finished, and Chinese restaurant, the fortune cookies came, and she opens her fortune cookie, and she says, "Oh, this is beautiful. This is perfect." And I opened mine, and I said, "This is a bunch of BS. It's such a cliche. Doesn't mean anything." And of course, they're the same fortune, and we pass our fortunes to each other. Both fortunes say, "Courage, everything will be all right." So, my question, I have a couple of questions here. How can people with the same personality type be so different, and what's the best way to deal with someone who's the same personality for all four personalities, blue, yellow, red, and green? Would you answer those questions, please?
Well, Richard, the biggest thing to understand is everybody was born a primary color. In other words, Michael Dlouhy was born a blue, but life steers you into other directions. In other words, I'll always be a blue. But give you an example. When I was trying to figure out network marketing, why some people fail, some people make it. Why do some companies make it? Some companies fail. What's the common denominator? I had to join those 100 companies. Now, I got to tell you, I'm a blue. reading policies and procedures and crunching numbers on compensation plans just about drove me crazy. But I had to do that. So I had to learn to be more analytical. So I learned a valuable lesson. I saw the benefit of being more analytical. Now, the green personality, who could also have a secondary color of green, they've got to be right all the time because they're smart. And they figure if they got it figured out, they must be right. Everybody else is wrong. Where being primarily a blue personality, I'm always looking for somebody else's opinion. Greens, they don't want nobody else's opinion. If they want it, they'd ask you for it. If they want to ask you for it. So what you're dealing with right there with you and this first love was primary color, secondary color. Environment, parenting. Parents raised her to think differently. She probably read some personal development, self-development books of some kind. Probably had a little notch up on you on that area. Didn't make any sense to you. What's this? This is a bunch of hype. That's, what do you mean, courage? That's got nothing to do with nothing. What are you talking about? Because you hadn't had that personal development yet. She had. So in every color, there's a primary and a secondary color. And that's where the struggle was. Two greens that both got to be right. Both got to be right. But I'll guarantee you, you had to be more right than she did. She was probably a little more lenient with having to be right just by the comment she made about the fortune cookie.
I'm not buying that, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to get some feedback from you here.
You know, I feel like the green personality gets in the way of evaluating this thing. I don't know, but of course I don't see how we could possibly conclude that she was more right than I was. That would be ridiculous.
Oh, of course. See, because that's you coming from that green side of all knowing. And that lies where the green struggles the most in life, business, romance, in every area, because they just can't. It's kind of like faith. If you asked a green about faith, they would say, prove it. Well, you just have to have faith. Yeah, but prove it. How do I have faith? Where does faith come from? Describe faith to me. And the yellow personality is going to say, yeah, I just believe. I believe that this is exactly the way this is. And they don't need the proof. The greens walk around saying, give me the proof. Mm-hmm. Give me the proof. Give me the proof. They want proof. So your dilemma with the young lady was strictly primary color, secondary color. Your parents, your parenting of you as a kid growing up, and her parents' parenting growing up. Give you a perfect example, okay? My daughter came to me 2.5 years ago. And her fiance, they were dating. Her and Brandon were dating for couple of years, and they decided that they'd like to get married. So, of course, Brandon came to me and talked to me if he had our approval to ask her and this whole thing, and great, okay, we went through that whole thing with them and everything. And so my daughter comes to me. Now, my daughter, understand, is very, very, very yellow, okay? But wait a minute, man, does she have a strong green side. Now, she wants the whole world to be happy and get along, but here was my daughter's green side coming in. She said, Dad, we really want to be married, have an outside wedding. And I said, great. She said, the outside wedding venues, this ranch and that farm and this place that have got these beautiful buildings and beautiful settings where you can have receptions for wedding receptions and everything. That's $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for these events, for these places. And I said, yeah. And she said, well, Brandon and I would like to build a barn on the property eventually. And so I was thinking, why don't I save my money and you save your money? And when we getting close to the wedding, we'll pitch in and we'll build a barn together. I'll work with you on the barn. I'll pay for half of it. You pay for half of it. So the money that you would have spent for a venue is not wasted. It will be forever with our family. It'll be here. It'll be our children will be able to share the barn. So now there's a yellow personality that just cares about everybody, concerned about every aspect of people getting along, but that strong green secondary side of her kicked in. Now, where'd she get that? My father was he was uber green. He was greener than Richard Dennis. Greener than Richard Dennis. See, Richard Dennis will at least tell his wife and daughters that he loves them. My father never said those words. So my daughter, and of course I've got that strong green secondary side that allowed me to analyze all those policies and procedures, read about the president of the companies and what they did and what they've got into and how many companies they bankrupted and all that data and all that research. I had to fine-tune that. Well, you know what? My daughter has been raised in that household in that environment. So it made me smile, but it didn't surprise me that my daughter came up with that plan on her own. So anyway, we're currently working and building the barn. The slab is poured. The poles are up. We set trusses. We're starting to get the purlings on and metal roof. So we're busy. Matter of fact, my daughter and I went today to the place and picked up the metal for the metal roof for the barn. So here's a yellow thinking through and not wanting to waste a dime of money. Don't waste any money. Let's do the most we can with the least amount of money we need to work with. And I just love that life philosophy that she's developed.
Definitely a good example. What about the other colors? How can we've talked about green and yellow. How about blue and red, and how people can, with the same personality type, can be so different?
Okay, a good example would be red. Let's start with reds, okay? Because reds they're hugely ego-driven. They have to be more right than you are, Richard. You'll let it go, they won't. They have to be right no matter what it costs them. They have to be right. So if you're a red and you're working with the red and you realize you just got to let them think they won. And notice what I said, let them think they won, okay? Just agree to disagree. Don't get in an argument with them about it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. My wife has a great philosophy. If money can fix it, it's really not a problem. If money can fix it, it's really not a problem. And if money can fix it, think about this for a second, Richard. If money can fix it, what are you worrying about it for? Why are you spending all your time worrying about it? Now, if money can't fix it, now we've got something that might be worth worrying about, might be worth a little extra digging, a little extra effort. So if we've got two reds trying to be commingle in a marriage, one of them is going to be the dominant person. It's just that simple. It don't matter if it's the male or the female. I mean, one of them is going to be the most dominant person. And what you're going to have to do is the person's going to literally have to just let the other one win and just know it's okay. It's okay. It'll work.